Let's go over how to grade some student samples for FRQ number 3 from 2021, set 1. Just a reminder that as of the time of this recording that you can't publish these to anywhere to be electronically distributed. So take a few minutes to read through FRQ 3. FRQ 3 is our math FRQ. There are 10 points possible, and you can tell kids that on a math FRQ, only about half are math. In this case, it's 6 out of the 10 points are math. So read through the question, try the math yourself, see how you do. Take a look at the grading calculations. And then go ahead and grade the 2 sample FRQs. When you're done, unpause the video and we'll go over how you graded. All right, so this FRQ, 3A, they did really well. So this person actually got 10 out of 10. So this is a perfect score, and let's take a look at some of the things that are required for a perfect score. For letter A, it was the specific habitat requirement they would need in order to thrive and survive. That gives them the point for A. The point for B, parasitism, parasitic is fine. For C, it's leaving areas of undeveloped forest. And notice here, the addition of and more biodiversity. So because this is a describe question, it has to have more than just this. If the student had written just this, it would be 0 points because this is partly restating the question, and then preserving habitat would be identify. And so a lot of students, they think they're good, but they're not. So it's because the student went and more biodiversity that they actually got the point for a describe question. For this one, high-rise apartment building, so basically that's vertical, which is part of the scoring guidelines, so a point there. So each of these points were worth here, 1 point for A, 1 point for B, 1 point for C, 1 point for D. Then the other math is worth 2 points each, 1 point for the work, 1 point for the correct answer. This student was really nice. They boxed their answers and the work is correct. So even though the way that their work, especially for F, they kind of spread out all the steps, and that's okay, because if you look at the scoring guidelines don't have all of that written out. They kind of written it in one line, but you don't have to, the students don't have to write it all in one line. They can spread it out like this student did. So all of this is correct and the answer is correct. So 1 point for the correct work with units, 1 point for the setup with units, same here, and then the last one, this is the correct answer here, as well, actually goes on. So all of this work is correct, going on to the next page, and then the correct answer is here at 20%. So all this work's correct, the answer is correct. So this is why this is a perfect paper for an FRQ. Now let's take a look at this one. This one seems like it's pretty good, but it's actually only a 6 out of 10. And let's go over why. The first one, they missed points because they only identified. So certain habitats is correct, but that's an identification. What about niches? What is it about specialized or certain habitats? And so there needs a description because A is a describe. But B is right because B is an identify. So all this person had to do was write parasitism. Then C is right because less soil erosion destroys less habitat of wildlife and plants. So there's a point here for C. For D is a green belt and a description of what the green belt and how it would help the thrush. So that's a point for D. For here, this is only 1 point for the answer. Now, they would not have gotten any points if they did not show work. So this student showed work, but the problem is units here. And so this was actually lots, 275 lots. And this is why they did not get a point for the setup. And they did this all the way through. They got all the answers right. They did show their work, but they only got the point for the correct answer because they forgot units in all of their work. Not everywhere, they put units here, but they forgot it in other places. So this is a really good example to show students of why you need units all the time, because this student only got a 6 out of 10 and they should have gotten a 9 out of 10 because they knew how to do the math, they forgot the units. So this would be a really good one. Once these are allowed to be used with our students, this would be a really good one to show students on the real AP test. Every single number has to have a unit if it has a unit. Not every number has a unit, but if it does, they've got to put it in. All right, hope that was helpful.